go. We just had Shotgunaroo. Bonnaroo is officially back open. Welcome to Storytime at the Bus, a weekly podcast about Bonnaroo and other festivals. I'm your host, Sharla.
I hope everybody is recovered. I'm Daniel, but you knew that already. I think the first day that I felt like a human again was like Friday or Saturday after we got back. How about you?
I still do not feel like a human at all. I'm just being very transparent and honest. Tonight is the very first time that I've worn makeup and did my hair.
Oh, well, you always look good to me back.
Thank you.
I think I slept the least at this Bonnaroo than I have at any others in the 10 plus years that we have been going. I was lucky to get like 4 hours a night, but somehow when we were there, I had enough energy to keep going. But as soon as we got home, I swear, I was a zombie for like the full week afterwards.
I have definitely slept less at other roos. There was one night where I got 1 hour of sleep, but I made up for it the other few days. But yes, when I got home, I did sleep and sleep and sleep. I'm still sleeping and sleeping and sleeping.
I noticed.
I think that is just, I'm getting older. Let's just be honest with ourselves. And I'm just still sleeping and sleeping and sleeping.
Yeah, same. I'm still kind of catching up. It's a little hard to get up in the morning. Like a week later, it's ridiculous. Now, all right, for this episode, we kind of wanted to go through the top list of everything. I think we have a lot of stories to share. Sharla, I understand you recorded a lot of audio that we're going to find a good way of sharing later on.
We got some fantastic interviews with some wonderful, amazing Bonnarooians, and you're going to want to hear those.
Yeah, so this year, I think we're going to do things a little bit differently. We're not going to have like one big video episode like Brooklyn and I did when we went down to Halloween or when you and I went to Bangkok. We are going to be sprinkling a lot over the next couple of weeks or month or so. We have like one video interview, a lot of audio interviews that we're looking to figure out a good way to get to you. We did a lot of good stuff. There's going to be a lot of video that you are going to see in this episode. So if you are only listening to this on Spotify, this is one of the few times I am going to urge you to go watch the actual video on YouTube, because there's going to be some cool video that you and I shot of the things that we're going to be talking about here in just a bit. So. With that said, I think this episode is going to be kind of our review, right, of this Bonnaroo.
Sure.
I did want to start by saying kind of what I had said online. I felt like this was a big Bonnaroo. This was one that wasn't necessarily the one that we wanted, but it was the Bonnaroo that we needed. You follow what I'm saying?
Sure.
Well, let me explain myself. So I think all of us may have come in with these fantastical ideas about how it was going to be perfect. The weather was going to be perfect. Everything was going to go perfect. That didn't necessarily happen. There was rain off and on. There was a lot of mud. There was a brief power outage. That was weird. We'll talk about that later. It didn't go as perfectly as it could have. But I loved that in that we kind of like fought the final boss of Bonnaroo. Like the rain came, we figured it out anyways. A problem that nobody saw coming with the power outage came. We figured that out anyways. I feel like this Bonnaroo proved how we are resilient, both the crowd and the people behind the scenes.
I
if
love
that
how
makes
you
any
said
sense.
that we fought the final boss. I think
Yeah.
that's a very good analogy.
Because, like, there was a lot of deja vu. We got, like, rain at almost the exact same time on Friday, right around the beer exchange happening over at the group plaza. And we're all like, oh, here we go again. And then, like, Sunday, it started raining like crazy again. And I'll be honest, I was talking with some friends and I was like, we're screwed. Nothing else is going to happen today. I thought, like, Noah was going to get canceled. But the people backstage figured out a way to make it happen. And yeah, it was a muddy mess, but just like the festival said, it was our muddy mess. How about you? What were your feelings about the whole Bonnaroo as a whole?
The Bonnaroo as a whole.
Yeah.
Am I ready to share my feelings?
Yes, I hope you are. That's why we do this whole darn thing.
I don't know, Daniel. I'm still recovering.
Yeah.
I'm going to be very transparent and honest. My clinical depression is still pretty strong right now.
Oh, man.
It's still pretty bad. It's I just miss everybody a
Oh,
lot.
I know. I
Um,
understand.
So I mean, there's a lot of great and wonderful and amazing things to share.
Mm-hmm. And I do want to take the opportunity to say that, like, post-festival depression is very real. I have battled my own versions of it in the past. I know what it's like. So if you have friends or family that you can reach out to, or like if you see a regular therapist, you should. Don't feel ashamed. This includes you. If you're in your feels after it, because, like, I think it's kind of normal that, you know, we look forward to something for so long and then boom, it's over. And then, like, your brain doesn't really know how to respond to that. Because that's happened to me a couple of times in the past. I totally understand. Is there anything you're comfortable with sharing? Because I'm sure there's a lot of people that might feel the same way as you.
Well, I think it was just amazing how they absolutely pulled it together and pulled it off. I think that was absolutely
Oh,
incredible.
it was, but I'm checking on you.
Oh, for me?
Yeah.
I'm not comfortable sharing. I'm
Okay.
sorry.
Okay. We'll talk more about that in the future. But like we said, hope you guys are doing all right. Check in with friends or family if you kind of feel like that, because you have people around you that are here to support you. It's a real thing. It's nothing to be ashamed of. That includes you. But yes, let's hear your feelings on Bonnaroo as a whole.
I think it was just amazing how they pulled it off. Like, you know, last year it was, here's some rain, it's too muddy, we're canceling, that's it, it's over. This year it was, no, we're pushing through it. This is happening. This is absolutely happening. I mean,
Yeah.
I think, you know, there was some shows canceled on Sunday afternoon. There was 11 sets canceled, which is very unfortunate.
I wanted to see Spacey Jane so bad.
You know, there was even some acts last year that was supposed to play that got canceled. Allie and AJ.
Yes, I feel so bad for them.
Right?
That's
It's
2 years in a
terrible.
row that the rug was
Terrible.
pulled out from under them.
But all that being said, they did absolutely every single thing correct to save that festival.
Mhm.
Absolutely 1,000 freaking percent. They did absolutely everything. I mean, there was things like, you know, a river flowing through the what stage, and they freaking pulled it off.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys just freaking phenomenal that they were able to pull that off.
I think from a PR perspective, they realized that they had to have, at the very least, that Noah show on Sunday
Right.
night, because that was such a big deal. His whole tour is sold out. That would have been bad headlines if it was like, oh, Bonnaroo cancels again, Noah Kahan can't play. But they made it happen. There's a lot of positives about that. I think that says something about the resiliency of Bonnaroo. It's not going anywhere. I think last year a lot of people were a little afraid about the future of the festival. I think them handling all these challenges and hitting those curveballs backstage, you know, I always love the baseball metaphor, proves that this thing isn't going anywhere. Now, we do have quite a bit that we do want to talk about. There's a lot of things that we liked, a lot of things that we might have some constructive feedback for Bonnaroo about. And then, of course, we're going to talk about, like, our favorite shows and everything. Do you want to dive in? Where do you want to go first? Like, things we liked or things we didn't like?
Let's start with the things we liked.
Yeah, we like to be
Go with
positive
that, yeah.
around here. All right, so we can go back and forth here. I'll tell you a couple of things I liked, and then you tell me a couple that you liked. Since we're talking about how they fixed the mud in some part anyway, let me talk about that. So I do like that Bonnaroo was very responsive. I love that they brought in like a couple of truckloads of mulch, it looked like.
Oh, it was more than a couple of
Yeah,
truckloads.
no. Brooklyn said that she saw like about a half dozen dump trucks getting ready to put it into the what field one night when she was starting to turn in. There was a part of Bonnaroo that was closed on one day because it was just too darn muddy. They let it dry. They didn't want anybody walking there. They obviously put a lot of mulch or whatever material it was that fixed the problem, not perfectly, but in large part. So obviously they were prepared for this. They had been watching the weather. They knew that this was possible. It happened and they worked around it. They made it work. Was it perfect? No. I don't think anybody could have made that perfect. I know that the what field was just, a pigsty on Sunday night for Noah, but we got it in. I know that the area in and around that tent was a pretty darn bad muddy mess. Everybody's okay. People got muddy, but I don't think, to what I know, nobody really got hurt. It's okay. And I think we have to give them huge props for the fact that Sunday actually happened. We lost, about a half of the acts, give or take, that were supposed to play on Sunday.
It was 11 acts that
Yeah.
we lost.
But the fact that they salvaged what they did is a big deal. And I do
Right.
think, while it sucks that there were a lot of acts that we didn't get to see on Sunday, it is a big win that they got in the acts that they did get, especially Rainbow Kitten Surprise and Noah Kahan. Those were great shows that a lot of people were happy with. But how about some of the things that you liked?
So when that tent got to be so muddy, did you notice that they brought in the tiles for like the actual stage,
Yeah.
under the tent part itself? They brought in tiles.
I heard about that. I never went up there to see it for
I
myself.
did.
What did you think about that?
That was amazing. That was freaking phenomenal because I went the next day to see somebody. I can't remember who it was, but they actually brought in tiles for it.
That's a
It
good
was
move.
fantastic.
They did the same thing in at least the what pit. I didn't go into the which pit after I saw Amel and the Sniffers, which I have many great things to say about. But I went with Skylar and MGZ and some other friends into the what pit for the Strokes, and they had it in there too. I was afraid that it was going to be a little slippery, but it was just fine. I didn't see anybody fall
It
down.
must have been Friday.
That was a good
Forgive
move.
me. Please forgive me. I suffer from CRS. Can't remember shit. It must have been Friday. I tried to go see Trixie Mattel, and I was in the back, but I didn't even dare try to get under the tent because it was so muddy. And Lil John, I gave up on that
Yeah.
because I went back to camp, and that's a whole thing. But so the next day, I guess it was the next day, I went to see Wyatt Flores at the tent, and they had put in those tiles, and it was there was just like no mud there
That's a good move.
underneath the tent itself, which
Yeah.
was great.
Other things I liked, we're biased, but I love what they're doing with Planet Roo these days. We got just a taste of it last year before the rain out, but now having all of the nonprofit booths and the house stage under a big tent, I think is a big deal. I think it makes it more enticing for people to come learn about the
Right.
nonprofits and see the stage entertainment. We're biased because the totem tent is over there, but I do love what they're doing, and I love that us and our crew is treated very well. And while I'm on the topic, thank you very much to everyone who volunteered with the totem booth in Planet Roo this year. Trust us, it is not unnoticed. We appreciate you guys so much, and we appreciate you putting your faith in what we're trying to do with Totem. It means the world to me and Sharla. So all of you that are watching that volunteered, thank you so much. We
Thank
love you
you.
guys so much for helping to represent this crazy thing that
Greatly
we're trying to do.
appreciated.
We have much to say about Totem, but I think we're going to save that for another episode. Our scholars this year absolutely slayed. I have many great things to say about them, but I think that'll be in another episode or two.
So one thing that I really enjoyed this year,
Yes.
and I think a lot of people will agree with me, especially in our area, and I noticed it in Centeroo also, but especially in our area in group, the bathrooms were the cleanest I have ever seen them on the farm.
I noticed
We have
that.
been going since 2013. The cleanest bathrooms I've ever seen.
I understand the locks actually work too.
Okay, in Centeroo, the locks on the women's bathrooms, 1,000% fixed. And I took some videos of that we can put in as well.
Well, thank goodness.
Yes, the locks, 1,000. And I checked multiple stalls too. It wasn't just like I went into a stall and had a fluke. No, I didn't want it to be like I was filming in the bathroom. So I just filmed when
Did
I went
you
in the
really?
stall. Yes, I checked and I took some videos and some photos. But, the Centeroo bathrooms, when I went in there, I noticed a lady was going in and out and cleaning like each stall while people were in the bathrooms. And she even,
Wow.
I went into a stall and she's like, "Oh, is there toilet paper in there? Do you need some toilet paper?" And I was like, "Oh no, I'm good. There's plenty in here." But
That's
it was
incredible.
amazing. Yes. And in our area in group, we have the flushable. It's not the porta potties; it's the little flushable ones. They flushed every single time. And last year, oh no, they stopped flushing like on day one. They stopped flushing on day one. They were overflowing. It was so bad last year. You couldn't even use them. Like people were just like, I hate to say this, but people were just pissing all over our camp. Literally, because you couldn't even use the bathrooms.
Listen, I'm starting to turn into an old man, so I'm on my routine. So I go over there like after I wake up and everything for, and every time it was in very nice condition.
Yes.
In the group plaza anyway.
It was the cleanest bathrooms I have ever seen. The trucks were running consistently. The trucks like the poop truck that cleans out that cleans out the toilets. I've never seen cleaner bathrooms at Bonnaroo.
So big props to them.
Whoever was in charge of the toilets, oh my God, give that person a raise.
It's kind of funny, but that stuff does matter.
Yes.
Like basic infrastructure that should run well, I think is taken for granted at some festivals. I have been to some places where it doesn't run well, and it makes a big difference.
I was genuinely concerned about those bathrooms in group to the point where I almost sent an email before Bonnaroo because, they have those group shows, those group programming. Yeah. Sorry, the group programming. And I was like, yeah, they're probably not, somebody's not going to remember. They're not going to think about that.
They remembered.
They're not going to think about that. And everybody's going to be over there using those, because that's what happened last year. They had all those renegades in group, but they didn't clean the toilets.
Well,
and we couldn't use our toilets because there was 10,000 extra people over there and we couldn't access our bathrooms. No, this year you wouldn't have known an extra person was over there. It was cleaner than the toilets in my house. And I'm not making that up.
Okay. Wow. On that note, all right. Some other things I personally like. I stopped by the new Where stage. Where was moved from Where in the Woods. Now it's that UFO thing. I don't even know who was playing when I stopped by for 10 minutes. I just wanted to check the thing out. I thought that was cool. I thought that brought the Calliope vibes back that we've been missing for many years now. You have other opinions?
No, I love the location. I wouldn't say it brought back Calliope vibes.
Yeah, close enough.
No.
The children these days will never completely understand, but I do like what they were trying with that, and I appreciate the effort. Also, another huge thing that I really liked was the new beer tent, Bonnaroo's. I have opinions on possibly like where it should be. We'll get to that. But I like the vibe that it brought. I like having a couple of different screens for ball games and stuff. I liked having all of the different local beer vendors. I thought the prices were reasonable on those things. I came through a couple of times when there was a big World Cup game happening. I loved that you had so many Bonnaroovians in there cheering on their respective teams. I thought that was cool. I know what you're going to say. We never saw the Braves game in there.
Not what I was going to say.
We don't know what happened to the late night movies, stuff like that. But it's a work in progress, and I appreciate that.
Well, this is not what we disliked.
We'll get to that.
We haven't got to that yet.
Yeah.
But I was going to say about the beer tent, the Bonnaroo's, I would give it a 9 out of 10. Loved it. Phenomenal. But I think what we may have expected was a little bit more. You said it best. You said you expected something more like a Buffalo Wild Wings where there were multiple TVs.
Yeah, I kind of got that impression that it was going to be that. There was the one big one that was under the tent, and then there was another one that was outside the tent, and they were showing two different things. But I really was under the impression that it was going to be like multiple screens. So it'd be like you go into a Buffalo Wild Wings, and any game that you would want to see would be on the wall somewhere.
When I went in there, but every time I went in there, it was showing the World Cup, which is cool, and that's awesome, and that's amazing. But I don't watch soccer, and that I know a lot of people do, and that's amazing, that's cool. But I'm just saying, I was told the Braves game was going to be on, and I mean,
well, they lost the day that they would have been on, so I wasn't that worried about it. I did come by like at 2 a.m. one night on my way to something else and eventually back to the bus. and they were playing like Seinfeld reruns. I thought that was kind of funny.
Oh.
I mean, that was some cool late night programming. I heard like the bass line, you know, that you
Oh,
hear
yeah.
when like Kramer walks in the door, and I'm like, is that really? And I walked over there, and it was like an old Seinfeld episode. I was like, huh,
Yeah, and
that's
what
kind of
happened
funny.
with the late night movies and stuff? So,
Well, listen, it's a work in progress. Maybe they can improve next
okay,
year.
okay.
But for the record, I liked
But yes, oh,
Bonnaroo's.
yeah, the tent, I thought it was great, yeah.
Yeah. What else did you like before we get to our constructive criticisms?
Um,
Oh,
okay, so this is gonna be quite controversial. I feel like I'm one of the few people who actually liked the location of that tent, the new location of that tent.
oh boy. Okay. Okay. This is going to be a crossover because this is the thing that you liked and the thing I didn't like.
Okay, I think that having that tent in the what field and having Bonnaroo's right there, I think it made Centeroo far less confusing. I've been going to Bonnaroo since 2013, and I still get hella confused in Centeroo because, again, I suffer from CRS, and I'm I'm the most directionally challenged person like of all time, and like I'm like, "Mm?" I think it made Centeroo just far less confusing in general. All that being said, they do need to get the timing right on for the shows on what and that for it to fully work because there are some festivals, well, a lot of festivals really, where they'll have the stages, you know, here's a stage and here's a stage, and you literally just watch a show here and then you turn around and
Yeah.
watch a show here.
Halloween was fantastic with that.
Hangout, when we used to go to Hangout, it would be a stage
Yeah.
here and a stage here, and you just flip flop back and forth. There's a lot of festivals, you know, that do that.
I
So
love that concept.
they really need to get the show timing right for it to fully work. But I really liked the location. I think that, like I said, it just made Centeroo flow a lot better. I think it cleared up the traffic. So I really liked the location.
So here's my counterpoints about why I'm not the biggest fan of that move. I think the sound from that tent doesn't allow for you to have the alternative stage format because I noticed that when I was like on the other side of the sound booth for the what stage, it was very muffled to me. I don't think that it carried enough for somebody to just sit in the middle of the field and be able to turn back and forth.
Mhm.
I would personally propose, not having the full knowledge that all the operations people there do, that just get rid of the tent. Just make another stage in the back. I think when you get rid of the tent, it allows for some more crowd flow. It allows for perhaps some better audio. I don't fully know, but I suspect that that would be the case. The other thing is what you just mentioned, the timing. If you are going to have alternating stages, you have to have the timing perfect. I understand some people were slightly annoyed that the Strokes went slightly over their time and Lil Jon didn't get to start until about like 10 or 15 minutes afterwards. So you run the risk of really majorly screwing up the schedule if you don't have your acts committed to being done at this time, starting at this time. It can screw everything up. The other problem I had with it being back there is it just being muddy. So that might not necessarily be the case in the
Well, yeah,
future.
you
But
can't. Yeah.
I know of a lot of people that saw how muddy it was. It was just like, yeah, I want to go see this band, but I'm just not going to bother with this because I don't want to deal with that mud. Because it was like up to your shins in some places. It was bad,
That's
bad.
why I miss Little John.
Yeah.
Little, Lil John.
Lil Jon. Um, I have some other nitpicky things about it. I think it wasn't the worst idea in theory, but I think it just didn't really work in practice. And I do think that if we start getting more full capacity crowds in Cinderu, it is definitely not going to work. Because if we had okay, so let me back up by saying the guesses that we have been hearing for attendance is around like 40, 45,000. We don't know for sure, but that's kind of what we've heard from some people that kind of sort of know what they're talking about. If you have a Bonnaroo where it's going to be 60,000 plus, I do not see that format working. I think the crowd will be way too thick because like you cannot have a late night show at that tent on the other side of the what stage if you've just had a headliner where you're going to have like 50,000 people plus in the field. That's going to cause for some crowd issues.
Yeah.
I don't know how they would make that work. The only scenario in which I can see the crowd working for the format that they had with that is a crowd like this year, where it's slightly sparse and you can get around. You don't have like a situation like it's, the Rohan charging Minas Tirith. I mean, it really would be like that if you had like a big crowd. So I don't know that I trust that they would be able to scale that for a larger crowd. I'm not saying it's a bad idea. I'm just saying that they have stuff to work on if they want to keep that format. I'm not opposed to keeping it, but I would want to see some improvements to make it work in the future with a bigger crowd and better sound.
Is it pronounced Minas Tirith or Minas Tirith?
It depends on who you talk to, but we can get into
I'm
that
asking
another time.
you.
I would say, well, the way they say it in the movie is Minas Tirith,
Minas?
the White Tower.
Okay, so that's the third pronunciation that I'm
Yes.
hearing now. So.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. Anyway, well, it was always written. You'd have to talk to the professor about that.
Okay.
Okay. Anything you did like before we get into the other things we didn't like?
I think we can move on.
Okay.
I mean, there's more stuff, but
Okay. So here's another thing that I'm not the biggest fan of. I don't think we should keep the new Thursday format moving forward. It felt a little weird to me. I think the power outage made for some weird vibes because when all the lights went off and we didn't know what was happening for about a half hour or so there, it kind of started things off on the wrong foot. It got better because Sportet was amazing and Skrillex was a great time, obviously. But I would rather have a bunch of small bands playing the tents than everybody.
I agree. I absolutely
yeah.
agree. So can we talk? Did we ever hear officially what the power outage was?
No, and I want to know. I heard conflicting stories about whether it was a Bonnaroo thing or a Coffee County thing.
I heard it was a Coffee County thing, but I don't know. But I do want to say one thing about that power outage. So ever since 2011, we had these tornadoes that came through the area. And ever since then, the TVA power grid has been like,
yeah.
And our power will just, and we live 80 miles south of the farm. The TVA power grid has just been like, it'll randomly go off. And like the first couple of years after 2011, it would just random ass go off. And it's still like every now and then the power will just go off.
I guess it's surprising it hasn't happened.
Still like, yeah, I'm kind of surprised it's never happened yet at Bonnaroo. So maybe it just overloaded the power grid. I don't know.
It could have. It could have been. And
I have no idea.
We haven't really asked around about it because we've all, been kind of getting back to normal in the week after Bonnaroo. But I would like to hear the story. Obviously, at this point, it doesn't really matter because things got back to normal within a half hour or so. But it was weird. So, like, you were somewhere else, but I was with a group of friends, and we were kind of stuck between security and where you scan your wristband in over there next to the Ferris wheel. So we were in this, like, weird purgatory. Finally, like, security was like, screw it, come on in. But like, it went from like being funny for the first 5 or 10 minutes to being like, this might be bad, And it was trippy. When we walked in, there was still a lot of stuff that wasn't working.
Yeah.
So the only lights were like people's totems, and it was honestly kind of cool. Like, I didn't hate it.
Yeah.
And I heard through a lot of people that, Fortet was the first artist to play after things got rolling again. And I heard that he was like doing his own lighting. And like things were probably running on a generator back there for a little bit before Skrillex got going. So that also shows how resilient they were backstage to make that happen after something that could have potentially been catastrophic. Otherwise, you can't have a festival without power. That would have been weird.
Well, yeah, clearly.
So, I mean, that's both a bad thing and a good thing at the same time. But to circle back to what I was talking about, I would personally vote that this whole thing about having everybody at the what stage on Thursday is not the best idea. I would like to go back to what wasn't broken already and just have like bands that might blow up in the future playing the tents and everything. And if they swing kind of a headliner type act to play the what stage on Thursday, like Pretty Lights did a couple of years ago, and what's his face, the country guy? Why can't I never remember his name? Luke. Big guy.
Luke Combs?
Luke Combs. Sorry, I couldn't remember his name because that's not really my genre of music. If we could get back to that, sure, have a headliner on Thursday. It's not the end of the world if we don't. I genuinely love seeing like bands that are about to blow up at the tents on Thursdays. And I found that I really missed that this year. And I would like to have that.
I absolutely agree, Daniel.
I think the vibe didn't quite work out to what they hoped it would be in the what field on Thursday night. And part of that's the power outage, whatever. They probably couldn't have helped that if it was like a TVA thing. But
who knows what it was?
Who knows? I vote let's just go back. What about you?
Can we please bring back Tuesday?
Oh,
Can
Tell
we
about that.
please, please, please? Bonnaroo felt so short this year, and honestly, I'm just being very, very, very honest and transparent. I think Bonnaroo being a day shorter contributed to is one of the things that's contributed to me being a little bit depressed
Mhm.
because I felt like I did not get to spend as much time with my friends that I normally would have gotten to. Because we typically use Tuesday as our day to like spend time together, to do our group thing, to do our friend thing, to do our like let's all spend time together before we start going to all our separate shows and start doing our like little separate individual, I mean, we're spending time with each other all week, but Tuesday is like our group day. We see these people once a year. We need that Tuesday,
Yeah,
you know,
I
or
agree.
I need that Tuesday, I guess. I need that Tuesday. For the love of God, give me that Tuesday. Please, please bring back Tuesday.
It
Please.
made things much more rushed.
Yeah, I felt like, yes, it felt so much more rushed to me because it's like, oh, we got there Wednesday. Uh, we got to get this set up. We got to get our totem booth set up. We got to do this. We got to do that. Okay, we wake up Thursday. Let's go, 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 go. I just felt like I was just so go, 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 go the whole time. For the love of God, please bring back Tuesday. If I had one request for next year, it
Yeah,
would be bring back Tuesday.
that kind of dovetails into something that I wanted to talk about too. Like, we had joked for months that, this Bonnaroo was going to feel like shrinkflation. Like, we were paying roughly the same price for tickets, but it felt like there was less of Bonnaroo to go around. There's no jam tracks. There's no Tuesday. There's no Where in the Woods. There's no full Cinderoo on Thursday. It adds up.
Right.
And you've probably heard this term. You buy a box of cereal for the same price that you've been paying for a couple of years, but there's less of the cereal in the box. That's kind of what this Bonnaroo kind of felt like. Not to like a significant extent, but to one where it felt noticeable to me. Not because there was less people there, but because there was less Bonnaroo at Bonnaroo. Like one less day, not a full experience at Where in the Woods, all these different things that we were just talking about. And I think that you can't charge the same amount of money and offer less and act like that's normal. I think that they have to fight the Live Nation overlords to get a more reasonable budget next year to bring these kind of things back, to staff things for a Tuesday, um, to bring content back that we've been missing. I would love to have something like Walter Productions back. We haven't had like those crazy things come in for a year, and you got to imagine it's because they're trying to shave on costs. I do appreciate that they brought the radio station back, but let's keep going. Bring the newspaper back.
Oh, I would love to see the Bonnaroo Biggie
Yeah,
come back.
but
So on the Walter Productions, they weren't invited back after
mhm,
Live Nation took over.
yeah,
And it was quite interesting, when the organizers were asked about Calliope on the Watt podcast, they just said Calliope is trademarked. Okay, we'll invite them back.
yeah. Like, it's not a big deal. Like, Bonnaroo contracts a lot of places to bring in entertainment. House of Yes is a great example.
Perfect example.
Love having them. In fact, that's one thing that I liked that I didn't really mention. I like that they went to a lot of different places like Snake and Jake's and different things this year, as opposed to being in that one barn where they were honestly kind of running out of space. I thought that was a great thing. Let's contract some more. If we want to make Bonnaroo kind of like this Glastonbury type experience where there's like all these things happening all over the place, you got to put your money where your mouth is. And it seems like there's less money to go around for that type of thing this year. I think the resiliency proves to the purse holders and stakeholders that more money needs to be invested in Bonnaroo, because for me personally, having gone for close to 15 years now, I could tell that less was spent on it this year, despite the fact that we were paying the same ticket price. I mean, that's not a heavy critique. It's just something that I can't help but point out.
Talking about Calliope, I saw a lot of comments and posts about bring back Calliope
Yeah,
going around.
I wish.
That'd be amazing. You know, something else that unfortunately I think we're going to have to mention, you know, I will forever praise them for doing everything they can, um, to save Centeroo and everything that they did with the mulch and all that. Unfortunately, there's still some drainage issues going on in
Ah,
Outeroo.
yeah.
There was a lot of our camp that had significant flooding. We had people in our camp that their campsites got flooded on both Friday and Sunday. We had campers that unfortunately had to leave early and they left with injuries. They left because their campsites were destroyed completely because water, came up, on their shins, came up pretty significantly high because a river was going through our campsite. So there are still some drainage issues going on in Outer Road.
I was a little confused by that because there was a large area that was right next to the group area. We used it to play baseball that one day, and nobody was ever camped there. And I kind of paid attention to it, and I did not see that area flooded, but I saw places where people were camped that were flooded. So it made me question what was happening in Outeroo in regards to that a little bit.
So that area that you saw that you just mentioned,
Yeah.
I genuinely am a little bit confused about that area because that was clearly the area where they would normally park the non-powered RVs.
Mm,
Because if you noticed, it was RV sections. They were even, you could tell where they had been marked off a little bit, but they did not have the power boxes for RVs.
yeah.
So I
That's very interesting.
question mark. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, we had been told that there would be areas where there would be no campers because they thought like, hey, if it rains heavy again, this is a place you don't want to be
Now,
at.
overall, I mean, everybody's fine. Like it's not that, not nobody died. Like it's not,
But did you die?
it's, it's fine. But we did have campers who had all their stuff destroyed.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. I mean, that's literally just what happened. And, what's painful is, I've saw a lot of reels, TikToks, whatever. Oh, well, people just ain't used to mud and blah, blah, blah. Have some empathy. Empathy and kindness for people who experience things differently than you goes a hell of a long way.
You can have a very different experience at Bonnaroo based on where you're camped.
Right. I mean, just listening to someone else's story and just thinking, oh, well, they may have experienced something differently than I did.
Yeah.
And just having kindness that goes so far. And just showing empathy and kindness for others.
I always think about the story of a couple of years ago where some of the porta potties basically exploded next to somebody's camp and they had to deal with that. There was a fair number of campers that dealt with the worst thing that you would possibly want to deal with, like a Woodstock 99 type situation.
After last year, some of the stories that I heard, I cannot even imagine what some people went through. I mean, just,
Now,
and obviously this year was significantly better than last year.
their efforts went a long way. Was
Yes.
it perfect? No, but I don't think it would have been realistic of any of us to expect them to
No.
totally
No.
100% fix all the issues.
No.
I think they did wonderful to fix as much as they did.
Under the circumstances, yes.
There's still work to do though.
Yes, under the circumstances, phenomenal, fantastic.
Yeah.
But we do need to realize there are still some drainage issues out there in Outer Road.
Yeah. Now, I am going to ask for forgiveness instead of permission to talk about this. I have heard this through a number of people involved with Bonnaroo. What they are doing out there is a multi-year plan. So what they did this past year is probably not even half. I'm just guessing, but they still have a lot that they want to do out there. So all the roads that you saw, all of the drainage improvements in Sinru is just the beginning of things, from what I understand. There is much more to come. I don't know what they're doing next, but I do know that some other things are coming. So yes, there was problems with that, but those problems are going to be further mitigated every year for the next couple of years. There's going to be continual improvements each step of the way. What else you got here?
I think I've covered all of mine that I want to publicly talk about.
Publicly talk
I'm
about.
teasing.
There's one other thing that I will point out, and I have to be kind of like vague about this for a number of reasons. I feel that Rue is a little short-staffed.
Yeah.
They have a lot of volunteers. Volunteers are only authorized to do so much. They do what they're told to do, and they work a couple of shifts, and they go to shows and have fun. That's great for everybody. But I feel like they're short-staffed with some of their actual staff. I know of a number of people that are having to wear way too many hats, who are stretched way too thin, who may have overpromised or underdelivered. And that's not to critique them. I just know the reality is that they are
Right.
stretched way, 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 way too thin. And they would probably say that too if they could come out and be honest about it. But, you know, they can't necessarily rock the boat with C3 and Live Nation. But I do think for Bonnaroo to be the scale that it is and to be the scale that it wants to get back to being, they need to have more people on staff to actually cover these things and not expect to have everybody doing the staff that they do have doing as much as they do.
I agree.
Because they are stretched way too thin. And I want to advocate to them. So if any Live Nation or C3 suit is watching this, pay them what they're worth. Hire some more people. Because it would be a much better Bonnaroo if you did, man.
Hi, I have 20 years of marketing.
But and I'm not trying to say that anybody has bit off more than they can chew or anything like that. I'm just saying that, like, they need some more help to get back to where they ought to be, you know? And I'll just leave it at that. Anything else on that front from you, or do you want to get to our shows that we liked?
Let's get to our shows.
Okay, cool. You go first. Tell me a couple that you liked.
Oh, Kesha.
Tell me all about it.
So we were all in a spot for Kesha, and I'm like, I'm going to go to the restroom. So I go to the restroom. I go to the permanent bathrooms that were right there. And I end up dicking around in the bathroom for like 20 minutes. I don't know what I was doing in there. Like contemplating my life, I guess. That's when I was probably making the videos of the locks.
Weird time to do that, but okay.
And I come back right as tick-tock on the clock.
Oh.
No. I come back right at the very moment. Right at the very moment. I come out and there's this like, no. Let me go back. I come out of the bathroom and there's this line stretching all the way back to the witch stage. And I start telling people, hey, guys, there's like 1 million stalls in there. You don't got to wait in line. And there's like all these like Gen Alphas that are just like,
what do I do?
What do I do? I'm like, just go. There's like 1 million stalls, I promise.
This is why we try to teach them the ways in Totem.
So I'm sorry, y'all. But yeah, so by the time I get back to the witch stage, I hear like, wake up in the morning. And I'm like,
first song.
I'm like, oh, I made it. And I'm like, I promise you, it must have been about 10 songs before I found y'all again.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
That was a crowd for that.
Yeah.
She threw a party.
Good. It was so good. But I pretty much just wandered around dancing. Found y'all. That
was a good night. I lost my stuff when she opened with that. We were like raging in the pit back there behind those trees.
That wasn't y'all weren't in the pit, but
well, no, I wish we were. I mean, we kind of made our own pit.
Yeah.
If I had to point out a biggest regret of Bonnaroo, it's that I didn't go to her Super Jam.
I was there for a little bit.
I don't want to hear about it because it sounded so good.
No, you don't, because you don't want to hear my thoughts because I have so many complicated freaking thoughts on Bonnaroo Super Jams.
You want to get into that, or you want to save that for another time? Give us the overview.
Well, my thoughts on Bonnaroo Super Jams in general. I need to know like a sign or something that tells you who's playing at what time. Like I'm deaf, blind. I can't
bring back the chalkboard signs.
I'm like Helen Keller over here. Like I need to.
Helen Keller did 9/11. Did you see that too? I didn't even put favorite totems on my list.
Like I'm like,
hey, Ricky.
No, like I can't see. I can barely hear. Like I need a sign that tells me who's playing. Like apparently, like Wyatt Flores was up there doing his thing.
Didn't even know. Bring back the chalkboard signs for the love of God. How much could that cost? How much could that cost?
For the love of
God. I'll give you a couple of my favorites. The Strokes was everything I could have wished it was. Me and Skylar and a couple other friends, MGZ was there. We're up in the pit. That was everything I wanted. It was like all the greatest hits. It was Julian being just a little bit of an a-hole. I had such a blast at that show. Another couple of highlights for me on the What stage was Fortet. I loved what he did. I mean, not dissing Skrillex. I didn't put him in this list, but I knew what I was going to get out of Skrillex. I did not know what I was going to get out of Fortet. That was a great show. I would make Grizz the EDM MVP of the weekend as well. That show was just like blow your face off amazing. When Ella from Rainbow Kitten Surprise came out at the end, we were like crying in the club when that happened. That there was so much emotional about that. I love that so much. I've been going to Bonnaroo for almost 15 years, and I would say that is in the top 3 emotional moments ever at Bonnaroo. It was amazing. I got some others, but give me a few more of yours.
Wyatt Flores.
Tell me about it.
Oh, he was so good. He was so good. All right, y'all, if y'all like country at all, look up Wyatt Flores. He's like a Texas country, and he's so funny. Like, it's just hilarious. Bonnaroo put him on their Instagram a lot, and he's so funny. And also, I keep forgetting that we saw Rainbow Kitten.
That was fantastic.
And that was Brooklyn's first show was Rainbow Kitten. And she saw it. Yeah. And oh my gosh, Rainbow Kitten is so good.
That was a long time coming because like Rue was supposed to have gotten RKS so many times, and for whatever reason it didn't happen.
Yeah.
You know, Grizz did that remix for us when he took over with that Golden Hour set a couple years ago, and that's one reason that was so emotional.
Yeah.
To do that with
Rainbow
Ellen.
Kitten. I saw Goldie Boutelier.
Finally.
Yeah, because Goldie was supposed to play last year, and she has the best story. So when she was like 18, she moved from Canada to London and basically got in with this producer and then like lost the right to like use her real name or something. I don't know. And then she DJ'd for a long time under Goldilocks. And anyways, now she's Goldie Boutelier, and she sang all of her hit songs, was really, really good. Oh, she was so amazing. My biggest surprise of the week was Papa Rod, probably.
Yes. Yes. You know, I love that guy.
I looked him up on social or whatever, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna look him up, follow him or whatever. He had like hardly any followers. I was like, is this the same guy? Like, I thought he'd be super famous.
Caught up. I just missed you, but I went over there with Josh. Try to name him in as many episodes as I can.
Well, I went over there with the other Josh.
Well, I went with Papa Josh to see Papa Rod.
I went with Joshua Baker. So.
Well, good for y'all. But anyway, I caught like the last half of that set, and I was just like, what? What am I seeing here? That was like seeing Childish Gambino when he first started doing more music instead of just comedy. I was like, whoa, this dude is gifted. Like he held the crowd in the palm of his hand, and like that was just like such a soul jam up in there, man.
It's when I saw it, I was like, this is something Daniel would like.
Yep. I loved it. I had loved the songs I had heard on Spotify and stuff, but seeing that guy live and seeing him like being such a good showman, I'm like, this dude is going to be a superstar pretty soon. Like that guy's about to blow up in a big way.
Oh, another big surprise?
What?
Whip Court.
Oh, I'm going to get to that too. I got like a couple of surprises. Can I tell you my other acts I really like first? So you brought up Papa Rod. I didn't put him in a surprise because I was like, I should have known this guy was going to be good. Blues Traveler. We're children of the 90s, so I thought I knew what I was going to get. Oh boy, I was not aware of their game. And I want to apologize to Bonnaroo that I critiqued them for not getting some good jam, because having Blues Traveler on the What stage and letting them rip it, that was a lot of fun, man.
I missed that.
Oh, they were fantastic. I was there for a good chunk of that show.
Oh, I was at the Mystery Beer Tent. No, that was before Blues Traveler. I don't know what I was doing.
I don't know what you were doing. Also, Emil and the Sniffers, I love them so much. I was there for the entire show in the pit. That was everything I wanted out of that. There was some like mosh pits that broke out. I almost lost that GoPro because it got knocked off of me in the mosh pit. Some girl gave it back to me. She was so kind. That was amazing. I love their energy. I love the Australianness of it all.
Just wait, I got a bunch of interviews for you to listen to.
Ah, okay.
That are really good.
Oh, is it from Who I Think It Is? We'll have that for you guys soon. But I love them. I hope to see them again. I was already a fan. Now I'm an even bigger fan. I love Emil and the Sniffers. Now, surprises. You go first, because I got one that's going to be controversial.
Mine, I'm sorry.
Oh, that was all yours?
All right, yeah.
I have two that are going to be controversial. There's going to be people that are going to be hating on me on this. They're probably going to be in the comments. They're probably going to be like WTF on the Discord. Are you ready for this?
Yeah, I'm ready.
I loved Youngblood.
Well, I've been telling you.
I was instantly obsessed with Youngblood. I went because I wanted to support Shayna. She loves him. And I'd been kind of interested, in what I was seeing. I was like, oh, kind of an old school rock kind of guy. And I think there was part of me that was like, okay, is this like an industry plant situation? Is this like some kind of poser? But then like 2 songs into that, I'm like, whoa, this guy actually is like an old school rock and roll guy. And I love that. I love having that at Bonnaroo. He had like same kind of energy, the same type of talent, not to the same level, but the same brand of talent as like,
Mhm,
Steven Tyler from Aerosmith or like even David Bowie or somebody like that. He's nowhere near that level, but
mhm,
it's the same lane. And I love that somebody is bringing that kind of like just straight up, hard rock energy back in vogue with like a younger crowd
mhm,
right now. And dude is gifted. He's a great singer and he's a great showman. I know that his band carries him a lot. I know that his marketing carries him a lot. But seeing what he did up close when I was in the pit, I'm like, whoa, this dude's
mhm.
for real. I'm a fan.
That's cool.
Yeah. Other one, this is going to bring me some hate too, because I know they have had band members that have been problematic. I was pleasantly surprised with The Neighborhood.
Oh,
So I went and saw like the last third of that show because I was going up with Brooklyn to get a good spot for Rufus Du Sol because that was important to her. And at first I'm like, I'm not going to listen to this because I've heard some of the horror stories about this band. But then they are playing some of their songs and I'm like, oh, okay, this is kind of a bop. I kind of like late earlys, late 80s, early 90s sound to it.
mhm.
Kind of like that California vibey kind of sound that they had. I know that there's some problems with a member or two of their band, and I respect everybody's opinion on that because that's totally valid. But it was hard to not like that music. I, I I got a lot of research to do to find out if I can safely like them or not. But I like what I heard from them. I know that's going to be a controversial take, but there it is, anyways. And biggest surprise, Wood Court. We shouldn't be surprised because we know Drew. He's a buddy. But man, that went over well. I hope you
It
guys were
did.
there for that.
That went over so good.
I heard wind that some of the Bonnaroo staff came to see that and check it out and were like, that was hilarious. And I heard from so many people like, please make that an annual thing. So yes, we have talked with Drew and we will make that an annual thing. In fact, I got a request from Evan to make it a whole podcast episode sometime late this summer or this fall in the off season.
You already got a case for next year, I heard.
I do have a case already. I don't want to bring it to this particular court. I got to bring it before Drew and the judge. But that was so fun. Me and Sharla brought one against JB. We lost. We had to do the Malort shot. JB, I respect the decision of the court. If you were there, you know what happened. It was hilarious. But yeah, that was fun. And I love that Bonnaroo trusted bringing some type of weird comedy back. That was a big deal to Drew to be able to perform at Bonnaroo. He has the tat on his arm and everything. I love that he got a great crowd, great energy in that crowd.
Everybody's like, bring back comedy. It was there.
It was there the whole time.
Yep.
It's there
It
with
was
Wood
there.
Court. So Wood Court, as long as we can see to it, shall be an annual tradition. I love how well that went and look for an episode here in a couple of months on the podcast. So think about what you want to bring before the court. But, that's a lot. We have more that we will talk about in the coming weeks. There's a lot that we had to dissect. We have an interview or two that we did do on video that we will get in the podcast in the coming weeks. We got to figure out how we want to use this audio only stuff. So,
I think I already know, Daniel. I
Well-
don't know why you trying to figure it out.
well, I'm the one that edits these things. I got a lot of figure. Hello, Ricky. Ricky's down here at my feet, grabbing at me.
We are professionals all the time.
Yeah. But to go back and summarize, I keep thinking about this. This wasn't exactly the Bonnaroo that we pictured or the Bonnaroo that we wanted, but it was the Bonnaroo that we needed. I think it proved to all of us that both the backstage people and everybody camping in Outaroo is more resilient than we give ourselves credit for. We were thrown the same challenges and we were like, F this, we're going to make it work. We're not going to lose Bonnaroo this time. And that meant a lot. And I think that says something to the current day and age, the more I think on it, the more energy it gives me because like, yes, there's a lot of stuff in the world that does suck right now. But I think what we just experienced goes to show that, our generation, the generation that is to come are like, nah, we got this. We can make this work. Maybe it isn't perfect conditions, but we're going to have a blast anyways, and we're going to make it work. That gave me a lot of hope and optimism, the kind that I really needed right now. This really recharged me and in a way that I didn't necessarily expect. And I love that. And I love that our community made this work. I love that the people backstage made this work. I think there's a lot to sit on and appreciate with this Bonnaroo. I think it proved a lot to ourselves. How about you?
Yeah, I agree, Daniel.
You
I'm sorry, depression.
Oh, hey, seriously, it is a real thing. Reach out to somebody if like you're in a weird space after Bonnaroo. I've been there too. It sucks. I'm not a fan. I've been trying to spoil her rotten this past week. We had sushi, we had drinks, all kind of things. Ricky's here to help you.
Yeah,
He's down here grabbing at me. But yes, much more to come in the coming weeks. I think next week we will have Brooklyn and her boyfriend Matt. It was his first Bonnaroo, so it's always great to hear from a first timer about how things went for them. And I am volunteering them right now at some point in the coming weeks or month or so. We're going to have this year's totem class on to talk about their experiences because we are so very proud of them. They did such a fantastic job. Thank you, Ricky. Do you need to be on this episode? Should I give him the microphone down there? He has something to say. What? All right, here. We're signing off here in a second. Ricky, I'm sorry that you had to sit here by yourself when we were at Bonnaroo. Here, Ricky, do you have something to say? You got the microphone now. Do you have anything? Ricky, do you have anything else this week?
Oh, now he's not talking.
Now he's not talking. All right. Well, Sharla, I had a wonderful Bonnaroo with you. For anybody that didn't know, we kind of renewed our vows for our 20th. So thank you to all of our friends that were there. We kind of sprung that on everybody at the last minute, but no other place, no better person I would want to do that with. Did you have a good time with that?
I did.
Yeah. Show your. I put a ring on it again.
Yeah. It's on one finger because I got it size.
Oh, look at her nails. She got these colored nails done for Bonnaroo too. I was so impressed.
I see it. Yeah. All right.
Yeah. Well, guys, much more to come in the weeks to come. We have a lot more video and interviews for you. We're just going to spread it out over the course of the rest of the summer. We got a lot coming for you. Anything else?
Do you have anything else?
Yeah.
Do you have anything else?
I got a lot. I got a lot. We'll have a lot more for you in the coming month or two. Hey, if anybody's in Chicago this coming week, me and Sharla will be there this weekend. She's tagging along with me while I'm there for work. Love to see you. Get some pizza or hot dogs, whatever the heck you guys got going on up there.
My lord.
The Lord, go Cubbies. All right, guys, this really was a fantastic one. Before we sign off, I do want to thank everybody. We didn't go through the whole Totem thing, but thank you to everybody who has contributed to Totem. This was a really big year for us. I want to send out a special shout out to Jax, who really killed it for us this year. They threw their heart and soul into this, and it's a much better organization because of them. Thank you so much, Jax. We love you. Thank you to everybody who volunteered at the Totem booth. Thank you to everybody who has helped me and Sharla out with any of our crazy ideas. It really means the world to us. For two weird kids that didn't really have much of community growing up, we have found ours, and it means the world to us that you guys accept us and support us and help us out with so much that we do. It means the world. Also, a big thanks to everybody behind the scenes. I want to thank Kelsey at Planet Roo. I want to thank Jenna, who does the group camping. I want to thank our good buddy Corey, who does so much for the Bonnaroo community. We need to talk to him soon. I want to thank like Maddie and Andrew, who put together a good show over at the group tent. I want to thank Ernst, who was our traffic engineer for our group camp. So many people, and once I start going through the names, I'm inevitably going to forget somebody, and I feel bad about that. But there's so many people. Bonnaroo is a group effort. Like our group camp is a group effort. Totem is a group effort. The stuff that they do at the group plaza is a group effort. If you are new to this whole community, find what works for you. Find like where you bring something to the table, talk to somebody, pitch in. If you have something that's so new that nobody else is doing it and you don't even know who to talk to, go do it. Justin, who did the Guess Who thing this year, is doing his own thing. He didn't need anybody's support. He's doing something amazing. He's going to be one of the interviews that we'll have here in the coming weeks. He has an amazing story. He was already on the podcast. He has an amazing story about something he's about to do. We'll have that on soon too. That's a long way of saying, I love y'all so much. Like everything that we all do as a community together, it means the world to me and Charlotte, and it means the world to so many people out there in the community too. So thank you. Yes, you for everything that you do for Bonnaroo. Bonnaroo isn't the trademark. It isn't the grounds. It's the people. And I think this is probably the best year in which we proved that, man. It was awesome. How you feeling?
I don't have anything else.
All right. Well, Ricky does. He's talking again now. Seriously, guys, we got more coming for you, but seriously, thank you. We have so many more people to credit. We'll be talking about that in the weeks to come. But you know what? Happy Root. This was a great one. Get out there and radiate positivity. We'll see you next week.
Bye.